The last 2 years, I have had the honor of working with General Electric as their professor in residence and chief innovation consultant. And in some sense, when I look back on that experience, this has been the most phenomenal, probably the best 2 years of my life. And how many academics get this opportunity to have a front row seat to watch a real company with real people engage in breakthrough innovation? The major challenge GE has facing, which is what Jeff Immel's legacy is going to be, is to do breakthrough innovation in a company which is known for outstanding performance. In fact, when you think about a company like GE and think about the CEOs over time, one of the remarkable things of the chief executive officers in GE is you don't get a new CEO just because of demographic reasons. The old CEO become too old and you bring a new person in. Whenever they appoint a CEO, it is always to signify change. In fact, one of the beautiful things in GE is when a CEO retires, boom, the CEO is gone, doesn't even sit on the board, so that there is no shadow there. The next CEO is there not because of simply age. The next CEO is there because the CEO has to put their footprint on the organization. Not because the previous CEO's work was incorrect, simply the fact that we are entering a new environment with a new age, new set of challenges. Therefore, it is time to reframe the strategy. Reginald Jones, who was the CEO of General Electric in the 70s, for instance, he really instituted formal strategic planning process. In the 80s and 90s, when Jack Welch took over General Electric and he was leading GE, he really put in place very strong performance discipline, the Six Sigma, the workout process. Similarly, Jeff Immelt, what he is staking his claims on is organic growth. He wants to really embed in GE a culture of innovation, a company known for a culture of performance. Without losing your performance, how do you add on innovation? That's the challenge that Jeff Immelt has undertaken. And that's really the core area of my research. So what a fabulous opportunity for me to actually see this happen inside a company. When I look back on GE's experience, three things stand out for me as the biggest benefit that I got out of it. The first is impact. I thought when I first got this opportunity, how can one person make a difference in a company which has got 300,000 employees? But what I found quickly is one man can make a difference. And my three-box approach to strategy and innovation, for instance, is now the vocabulary GE uses in all of their strategic planning process. It's an example of the impact that I have had on the organization. In fact, many times these days, we criticize business schools by saying business school faculty do irrelevant research, which has nothing to do with the world of practice. Whereas I can say from first-hand experience, there is a direct connection between the research that I have done in the last 30 years and how it has found a home in a large, well-established, well-run company. And the reason why academics, even one person, can make a big difference, perhaps I didn't understand the full power of the objectivity that we have. When I go into GE, I don't have a big budget, I don't have a big title, I don't have a big office, but one thing I do have is a level of objectivity. When I say something in a meeting, it is I'm trying to tell the truth as I see it, because I have no hidden agenda. I'm an outsider. Even if you're a consulting firm as an outsider, you probably lack that objectivity. If McKinsey gives them a recommendation, even though they're an outsider, people always wonder whether they have an angle here. They want more business. I don't want more business from GE. Certainly an insider in GE lacks the same credibility and objectivity, because when an insider says something, people always wonder whether they have an angle. Whereas when I say something, nobody wonders whether I have an angle. They may disagree with what I say, but they will never wonder whether I have an axe to grind. So the first takeaway for me is the impact. And it is always pleasing to see how your research can, in fact, find a home. The second major lesson for me is I met some really outstanding leaders in that company. When you go and see the caliber of people a leading company has, you become humbled. They may not be academic and think in theory and so on and so forth, but they're very, very smart people making tough decisions when the world is changing in front of them in unpredictable ways. So my second takeaway is the world is full of great leaders. So I am really very positive and optimistic about the way we will find solutions, even despite these tough economic conditions. My third big takeaway is I went in there trying to apply my theory to GE's innovation process. But I'm now coming away as a student, not as much as a teacher. Because when you start to apply your theories, you find the limitations of your theory. The world is more messy than I thought. And therefore, there are a lot of phenomena there for which I have no clue, no understanding of how that happens. So therefore, I'm coming back to Tuck and returning to Tuck with a lot of ideas for further research, including the article that I and Jeffrey Mell co-authored in the Harvard Business Review October issue is all about a new way of looking at global strategy. We are charting out a new area which perhaps I would not have gotten the same appreciation if I had not been involved in GE. And hopefully that will open up new avenues, not only for research for myself, but also for other academics. So if I were to sum up my GE experience, it is really three things. I had an impact. I met a whole lot of people who are smart, and then I come back to Tuck with a lot of fresh ideas to write about.